tell us your story, because you guys started making gin and rum as well, right?
Yeah, the rum's brand new. The rum is very, very new.
And it's not, I mean, there's so much gin around now because it's become a very trendy drink. I went into a bar not that long ago in a hotel in London, and I said, can I have a gin and tonic? And they handed me a menu.
Yeah, of course.
70 different, I said, I just want a gin and tonic. They couldn't do that, you know, but I mean, yours is great. So tell us how you became gin makers.
Yeah, well, there's over 1,000 gins, and these are official figures.
Right.
Over 1,000 gins and approximately 45 to 50 new gins every single month.
Wow.
So there's gin fatigue, to be quite frank, because it's just too much. There is too much.
But why
choice.
has it suddenly become a thing? I mean, I don't understand, really.
Well, the law changed about 10 years ago to make it much easier for people to make gin and sell it.
Okay.
Prior to that, the laws were extremely difficult. And with the big trend in food, people will know where their cow came from, what side of the field it came from. Well, gin's just joined that bandwagon, really, of people just...
Yeah, I was in a restaurant by Tower Bridge and with my daughter a few weeks ago, and she wanted a gin and tonic, and they said, oh, we've got this nice Bermondsey gin, which is just made over there.
Yeah.
So we had some, you know, and it was nice. But, I mean, it's amazing how much of it there is.
There is loads. There is loads. And we never... You asked me about our gin. We had no plans to make gin whatsoever. Right. The story in sort of 25 seconds, and this isn't going to make great radio because I'm going to show you some pictures.
Okay.
But this isn't some made-up marketing story. I run a plumbing company or a leak detection company.
Right.
In 2013, I bought a 150-year-old bakery to convert as a wreck, and I'll show you some pictures.
Okay.
To convert it into an office for my plumbing company.
Okay.
So it's now an office.
Right.
When we converted, I don't know if you can see those from there, Mike. I'm showing you on my iPad.
Yeah.
You can see there's no roof. It's just...
and whereabouts is this?
This is in Palmer's Green in North London.
Right.
When we converted it into the office that it is today, I removed the original chimney because it was dangerous, would have come down, would have hurt someone.
Right.
I then got sued for £20,000 by a neighbour who claimed to have owned my chimney.
Really?
So we got into into a ridiculous, ridiculous dispute. While the lawyers were arguing, was it Mike's chimney? Was it Ian's chimney? What's the history of the place? How did it all go wrong? The lawyers found out that the original bakers over 100 years ago made and sold illicit gin on the premises.
And there's a guy on a penny farthing.
Absolutely. There's a photograph of some of the descendants from the Muse. See that little boy there?
Yeah.
Just so you know, this isn't a made-up picture. See my little boy in exactly the same position. I've got a penny farthing, but I'm too fat to get on it.
It's very high up, isn't it?
Back to this little fella. I tracked him down. He's 4 years old there. He's now 99 years old. Literally... BBC News, ITV News, Channel 4 followed the story. I tracked this fella down, got the original recipe, and then just for fun, as I said, we really are plumbers. We've resurrected the once illicit gin using the same 4 botanicals that the bakers used over 100 years ago.
Okay.
If I hadn't been sued, we wouldn't be here.
So is it actually a kind of what you might describe as a slightly organic process then? I mean, what sort of equipment is it exactly?
Well, Fisher Price. If you see our setup, it's Fisher Price. We're competing in a very crowded market with all the big boys. Yeah. I mean, there's our little stills, if you can see them. So they're very, very
like
small.
copper sort of. It's very impressive. I love to see that. I mean, I've seen it in sort of breweries as well, where they have the really big kettles.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what they are.
Okay.
These are tiny though. Yeah.
But they're quite small. So how much do you produce on a sort of a weekly basis?
300, depending on the temperature, 320 bottles a week. So it's tiny. So
okay. That's quite a lot to shift, though, isn't it? And you've got. I mean, I've seen on Twitter that you've got quite a lot of outlets already because you're very entrepreneurial, which I know is a kind of not really a surprising thing if you're in business. But I mean, you're very self-starty. I mean, we met each other a while ago. And you're good at getting.
We've been stalking you ever since.
Well, listen, but that's the way you got to do it. You got to stalk people and get them to take notice because you're very good at that. And luckily you're not crazy. Otherwise, of course, you wouldn't be sitting here.
No, that's very kind.
Or maybe you would. Yeah. I don't know. So what are we going to do? What are we going to drink today?
Have a little taste. So this is what we call our perfect serve.
Okay.
When it comes to food, Mike, are you sweet or savoury?
Well, I'm a bit of both, actually. I mean, funnily enough, you talk about old bakeries, right? Yeah. You might know or not know a place in Hampstead called Louis' Patisserie.
Yeah, of course. You used to work there.
I used to work there. So my kind of formative years were very much in a bakery, where not only did I learn to make a lot of cakes, but I learned to drink. Because the guy that ran the place was Hungarian, and he used to kick off every morning with a bottle of Veuve Clicquot. He'd move on to Carlsberg Special Brew about 11 o'clock, and by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon he was on the vodka. And it was literally, I mean, he just drank all the time.
Well, we're complete lightweights compared to all of that, I can assure you.
So this is a basic gin and tonic, is it? You've got some things in it, though.
Tiny bit of basil.
Yeah.
Pink grapefruit. We've served it at Lancaster House.
Okay.
We've been invited to Buckingham Palace in a couple of weeks' time, and that's the drink that we'll be serving there.
Very nice. So you get a royal seal for that, then?
Do you know what? I was very discreet and I did ask the question.
Yeah.
They've changed the regulations 13 years ago, so you now have to supply Buckingham Palace 5 years consecutively.
Oh, right.
And then it goes to a committee.
That's nice.
Then it goes to a committee. But that's our perfect serve. If anyone ever says, how should we drink your drink?
Yeah.
We'll obviously say it's subjective, drink it how you like.
Yes.
But our recommendation is that. Isn't that fantastic?
That is beautiful.
It's really
So it's got a strawberry.
No, that is pink grapefruit.
Oh, sorry, pink grapefruit.
And a bit of basil.
Bit of basil and a bit of... oh, yes, OK.
And we've served it with a Japanese tonic water by Merchant Heart.
Yes.
So rather than going down the normal route that, the big...
This is great, this tonic. You can buy this, can't you? I've seen it in Sainsbury's, I think.
Yeah, in Sainsbury's.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. We wanted something different because people come along and say, why aren't you using Schweppes? Why aren't you using such and such or whatever?
Well, those Fever Tree guys have made a fortune, haven't they? And I mean, again, you think to yourself, well, how can you just make that kind of money coming up with a drink that already exists? I mean, all they sell is tonic water, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when we do shows, George, everyone asks about that.
Yeah, and everyone uses Fever Tree. We did an event the other day. There was 8 different gin distillers.
Yeah.
The other 7 all used Fever Tree. We're the only ones to use something different.
Okay.
And it becomes a talking point because if I'm not being rude, if I'd served you with Fever Tree, you wouldn't have said anything because you'd expect to see it.
Right.
Whereas having something different that is perceived as a small batch.
Also, I like the size of these bottles as well because, if you do have them at home, you can have a lot of different flavours, whereas if you want to do that with bigger bottles, it takes up too much room, doesn't it?
Have a try the strawberry one. So that's strawberry and fresh mint.
And it's the same gin, is it?
Exactly the same gin.
Okay.
Pink tonic water.
No, that is nice. Oh, it's got a bit of a kick to it, that one, isn't it?
Which one did you prefer?
I think I prefer that one.
Yeah, that's
the first one, the grapefruit one.
It's the best. It's the best drink.
I like this one because it's straight up, nothing particularly fancy about it, but a really nice kind of combination. And the basil gives it a little smell, what do you call it, perfume.
Yeah. We follow you on Twitter, obviously, so we see all your foodie pictures and foodie drinks. Don't see too many gin drinks. We see beers, we see wines, champagne.
Yeah, well, I mean, occasionally I'll have a gin if I'm out, but I don't really drink a lot of spirits at home, genuinely, just because it tends to be...
You're not allowed.
It's not so much that. No, it's. I mean, I'm lucky enough to live the great life of having. I see my kids at the weekends, but on my own during the week in my little bijou London home, and so I can drink whatever I want there. But it just tends to be wine because it's the kind of thing that you drink. I mean, I'll drink gin if I'm in a bar and I'm out, and in the summertime, whenever it arrives, if it ever gets hot enough, it's the sort of thing I'll drink in a long, cool glass. But I don't really. It's not something I drink at home a lot.
No, you asked about... I'll show you one more picture because it's funny. You asked about our stills, and my iPad's gone all funny for some reason.
It'll do that, yeah.
Lucky me. This will make you smile. You asked about our Fisher-Price stills.
Oh, yeah.
If you look really... And I'll pull it over to you. If you look really, really closely, can you see the taps at the bottom?
Yes.
These are Tians. These are Tians from Costco's.
Oh, are they?
We've put some copper on them to make them look sexy.
Right.
The copper domes we bought in, and then the top bit, my plumbers made all the pipe work. So
really?
It's all homemade, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I learned to make gin from YouTube videos.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's extraordinary. And I mean, is it pretty straightforward to do?
Honestly, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It really is simple.
And what's the basic principle of gin? Because I always assumed it was juniper berries or something like that. Is that what it is?
Yes. I mean, there's 2 processes for making gin. There is the traditional way, and then there's the cheap way, and I'll explain what the traditional way is. The traditional way is you physically have to create a spirit. So you create your own vodka or your own neutral grain spirit, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the cheap way where you buy the spirit in.
Okay.
Well, 2 reasons we do it the cheap way. Firstly, we can buy the spirit in cheaper than we can make it.
Okay.
So why would you go through the hassle of making it? And trust me, it's a load of hassle because we've done it.
Yeah, because that's all about sort of drips and drops and all sorts of things.
It's just a nightmare. It's just a whole world of pain.
Yeah.
And when you're busy, you don't have time for a whole world of pain. And I think there's only... How many distillers are in the UK? 10?
I think there's
12?
Yeah, less than 10 in the UK.
These are the people you buy it from.
So there's less than 10 gin companies in the whole of the UK. There's 1,000 brands.
Okay.
There's less than 10 that physically make the spirit, rectify it, and turn it into gin.
Okay.
So there's very few that do that. Because it's just a whole...
A lot are in Scotland now as well, aren't they?
Loads.
Scotland's become... In fact, I think they now produce more gin than they produce whiskey.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them come out of big manufacturers that do own label stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The whole market's sort of riddled with
Right.
that, and it's all sort of a whole.
Okay, and if people want to find this sort of on the main market, as it were, can you buy this retail?
Yeah,
your
I mean,
gin?
because we're only a small batch.
Yeah, you won't see it in any supermarket.
No.
It's big chains. Certainly the big shops in London. Am I allowed to mention those?
Yeah, go on.
Harrods, Fortnum and Mason.
You can get them there.
Yeah,
Okay.
nationwide in Majestic wines and Laithwaites.
Okay,
Jerry's of Soho,
right.
and Majestics throughout the country.
Okay.
Every branch. I think every branch of Majestic.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty good reach then for you, isn't it? I mean, have you got a sort of point at which, like a lot of businesses, when they start small, they get to the point where they go, actually, we can't get any bigger than this because we can't handle it.
Well, we're there. We're there at the moment. We've now got a commercial still,
Right.
that will take us up to 1,500 bottles a day capacity
Okay.
rather than 300.
Right. It's 300 bottles a day.
No, sorry, 300 a week. 300 a week. We
Okay.
could do 1,500.
Right.
We could do 1,500 a day,
Right.
and that's not fully operational yet. Why is it not operational, George?
Yeah, why is it, George?
No pressure.
We're still waiting for licensing to come through, and there's
Okay.
a few
There's a few.
little glitches, but
Yes.
It leaks.
I can
I
imagine.
won't be able to.
I can imagine, yeah. But it's a
leaks.
fantastic sideline for you, which has now become mainline, presumably.
It's fun. I mean, that's just a picture of one of my vans.
Oh, right.
And if you look at the door, these vans, you'll see them in London with toilets on the side.
Yeah.
They're my plumbing
I'll
company.
look out for those.
We do our deliveries in London.
Okay.
So we deliver to Harrods and Fortnums
All right.
in
In
our
those?
plumbing vans. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.